Take over state. Governor Adeleke to flag off free high treatment. Federal government to subsidize electricity. And coming from the foreign scene, the United Kingdom raises wage growth. Good evening and welcome to Major Report. I am Kayode Adebayo. The Congress of Yoruba Leaders of Thought has condemned the violent attempt by some members of the opposition All Progressives Congress, instigated by former governor of the state, Mr. Oyetola, to forcefully take over the administration of local government across the state. According to a statement signed by its publicity secretary, Abiodun Olanide, the Congress condemned the orchestrated attack, which led to an unfortunate loss of lives, describing it as a brazen act of political desperation and also a direct assault on the peace and stability of the state. The Congress in a statement says it holds Mr. Oyetola and his political associates, including Mr. Bashiru Ajibola, the APC National Secretary, accountable for yesterday's violence. The statement further states that as insignificant minority actors in Osun politics, the actors have resorted to undemocratic means in a bid to undermine the legitimately elected government of the state, saying their call for a declaration of state of emergency in the state is not only reckless but also a dangerous invitation to lawlessness and an attempt to subvert democratic governance which must be resisted by all well-meaning Nigerians. The Congress deeply regrets the loss of innocent lives and extends its heartfelt condolences to the families of those affected by the senseless violence, while noting that the premeditated attack on various local governments in the state stand as a grave reminder of the lengths to which power-hungry individuals are willing to go to disrupt governance and sow chaos. The statement commended the security agencies in the state for their swift intervention, which ensured that the state did not descend into anarchy as planned by the arsonists. The statement, however, urged the people of the state to remain calm and resolute in the face of provocations. Secretary to Osun State Government, Honorable Teslim Igalaye, has denied fomenting crisis at the Osogbo local government as alleged by Senator Ajibola Bashiru, describing the allegation as defamatory and attempted character assassination. In a statement issued by a Special Assistant of Media, Kehinde Adeoye, Honorable Igalaye said, contrary to Bashiru's allegation, he played leadership and mediatory roles at the scene to ensure that the confrontation between the two parties did not snowball into bloodshed. According to Honorable Igalaye, when the confrontation reached a boiling point, he was invited to intervene and had to take the APC chairmanship candidate Saheed Oniban-Okuta to the two divisional police officers and urged both sides not to attempt to enter the secretariat, and the two DPOs agreed with him, automatically saving the people of Osogbo from needless killings, wondering where Bashiru got his wild falsehood. While commending the dedicated and professional DPOs of Okwebale, SP Femi Bodede and CSP Ibrahim Sanusi of Iludo, both within Osogbo local government, for being professional in handling the situation, he rebuked Senator Bashiru for spreading deliberate lies and falsehood. Honorable Igalaye said that as a High Chief of Osogbo land, he will never be part of the ignition of conflicts in his homeland, and also as a top functionary of the state government, he has a sacred duty to ensure peace in his local government in line with the peaceful nature and engagement policy of the state governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke. In related development, the National Association of Nigerian Students has called on President Bola Tinubu to wade into political crisis rocking Osun State to forestall anarchy. NANS made this call in a statement signed by the clerk of the Senate, NANS, in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, noting that the crisis which had reportedly claimed 6 lives should be nipped in the bud before it festers. Osun was embroiled in crisis over the purported return of the All Progressives Congress local government chairman sacked by the court. The crisis was said to have claimed 6 lives, including a former local government chairman, as supporters of the PDP and APC clashed. The student body, however, in the statement observed that Osun is one of the states that is politically volatile, urging Tinubu not to fold his arms and allow the state to be engulfed in skirmishes because of politics. Odunayo posited that it would be disastrous if the state that is still battling with pockets of communal clashes becomes a battleground between the APC and the PDP. He expressed concern that the political crisis in Osun is gradually taking the semblance of the Operation Wete of the Wild West region in the 60s, reiterating that Tinubu must do everything in his capacity to quench the fire of discord. Chairman OSBC Board, Engineer Mayowa Olosho, has escaped assassination at Ilesha East local government attack by the thugs allegedly working for the rival political party, clamoring for the return of the sacked APC chairman at the yes or no chairmanship election conducted by the last administration. Reports say the assassination attempt was carried out during the electioneering campaign of the People's Democratic Party to the Iyemogun axis of the local government. The sacked Ilesha East local government chairman had earlier mobilized his political hoodlums to break in, gain access to the locked council secretariat. Immediately, the peaceful PDP train approached the council secretariat gate, moving towards the passport office site. Sensitizing the electorate to seek for their support and votes, the fully armed thugs placed at the entrance gate started shooting, thereby rough-handling the corporation boss and several others. The hooligans deliberately showed attempt to lynch the OSBC chairman, being a political figure in the area popularly known as Singapore. Engineer Olosho escaped into the thin air while his car was attacked. In the meantime, the Oluwo of Iwo Land, Oba Abdulrasheed Akanbi, has issued a plea for peace and unity among all government stakeholders in Osun State. This appeal comes as tensions between supporters of the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party have led to violent clashes resulting in multiple casualties and widespread unrest. There has been an escalation of violence over local government leadership in the state. Confrontations erupted across several local government areas, including Irewole, Boripe, and Ife East, as APC members attempted to reclaim council secretariats, leading to violent clashes with PDP supporters. Tragically, this incident resulted in multiple fatalities and numerous injuries. Amid these developments, the monarch emphasized the importance of preserving the state's harmony, urging politicians to avoid actions that could further destabilize the region. In a statement issued by his chief press secretary, Ali Ibrahim, the monarch appealed to the people of Osun State, most especially the politicians, to desist from acts capable of destroying the existing peaceful coexistence in the state. Highlighting the detrimental impact of the reported violent attacks, the monarch noted that the violent attacks reported by the media in some local governments are worrisome and doesn't depict the true image of the state as the land of virtue. Meanwhile, Osun State government is set to embark on free eye test treatment and surgery for pupils and students of public schools across the state. Governor Ademola Adeleke stated this during a press briefing in Osogbo. Our man, Sahid Adeboje, has the details.
Of the people of Osun State knew no bound, hence the commitment of his administration to establish programs that will enhance their healthy living. Describing eye as an important part of the body, the governor said that his administration is set to commence the Imole School Eye Aid for all public school students. The governor, who spoke through the executive secretary of Osun Health Insurance Scheme, Dr. Rasak Akindele, noted that 345,000 pupils and students in public primary and secondary schools will benefit from the gesture, noting that many of the students who perform poorly academically are not intellectually poor. He said that many of them suffer from eye defect, which makes them not to see clearly what the teachers put on board. According to him, training of teachers who will carry out the screening will commence this Thursday, after which school-based screening of pupils using acuity chart will hold between 24th and 26th of this month, while refraction and provision of glasses, drugs, and corrective surgeries will hold between 27th February and 7th of March 2025.
Now, the real examination of the eye will be done by experts. They will now examine what is the problem Is it long-sightedness, short-sightedness, and simple?
Speaking in the same vein, Director of Public Schools, Mrs. Adeoye Oyebola, described the decision of Governor Ademola Adeleke as lofty and highly commendable. She maintained that the State Ministry of Education is ready to support the fusion, urging parents to release their wards for the eye test and treatment, which are free of charge.
So we use that below 1,000. That's what a teacher is going to be screened. And we pick the midterm holiday, that's February 28th and 21st of February 2025 for the training, and the Atauja School of Science is picked for the training. The teachers are ready, even if there's no remuneration. We are happy that it's happening in our own days.
For Osbc News, this is Saeed Adiboje reporting.
In related development, Governor Ademola Adeleke has been commended for realizing the potency of traditional medicine as an appendix source of education to orthodox medicine, as he recently held a collaborative effort among the sources of medication for the people in the state. The immediate past Chief Medical Director, Uniosun Teaching Hospital, Osogbo, Professor Peter Olaitan, dropped the hint after featuring on Osbc TV Current Affairs program, Newsmaker. He speaks.
Funding into this so that the two can come together and look at how we can scientifically work on what the traditional some of the things they use work, some of them may not, some of them may actually be harmful too. So it's a good time to really come together as traditional and orthodox medical practitioners and look at it. And I think the government also should be encouraged to put some funding into this so that the two can come together and look at how we can scientifically work on what the traditional health care have, and then we come out with something. I mean, China has done something like that, and they use a lot of their traditional medications. Same thing with India, and I don't think that there's anything wrong in us looking at that. So I think it will be a good thing to look at.
Professor Olaitan also urged Nigerian government to rejig health institutions to make up for the shortfall of the American government's suspension of aid in health sector. According to him, Nigeria has the wherewithal to stand independent of any foreign, and if adequate incentives are given to experts to work with. He speaks.
Every human being that God has created and put on the planet Earth can cope. It depends on how much we stretch ourselves. We've been spoon-fed over the years, and that's the problem. But we can cope. But it may be painful, it may be difficult, but eventually we will be able to get. Initially, it won't be easy, because if aid has been coming over the years and then suddenly it stops, it's like a child that's been used to breast milk and you stop feeding with breast milk. There'll be some shaking, okay, but eventually that child will cope. So we can, but it may be difficult, it may be painful, it may take some time, but we can. And I think our government should begin to look at self-reliance rather than thinking about America, United Kingdom all the time to come and help us.
The federal government may spend 2.36 trillion naira on electricity subsidies for low-income consumers this year, a figure that comes amid plans to implement a cost-reflective tariff for electricity consumers. This came as the multi-year tariff order released by the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission showed that the government incurred 178.03 billion naira electricity subsidy in January despite minimal cash backing. The subsidy payment comes despite low allocations in the budget to cover the mounting electricity cost. The 178.03 billion naira is a decrease of 10.1%. or 19.88 billion naira when compared to the 197.91 billion naira that was shouldered by the government on behalf of electricity consumers in the previous month. The Regulatory Commission stated that the subsidy was calculated after a review of key tariff indices, which showed that the weighted average cost reflective tariff dropped to 116.75 per kilowatt from 213.85 naira per kilowatt in December last year. Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission explained that the exchange rate was pegged at 1,556 naira to a dollar, an increase in the inflation to 34.60%, and changes in available generation capacity and cost necessitated the minor review. The Commission maintained that the approved tariffs shall remain in force, subject to monthly adjustment of pass-through indices including inflation rate, exchange rate, and gas to power prices. In the meantime, Ogun State Governor Mr. Dapo Abiodun has announced that an independent power plant set to deliver uninterrupted 24-hour electricity to major parts of Abeokuta will be inaugurated within the next 8 weeks. The governor made this known after inspecting the 30-megawatt power plant located in Onijangajangan near Ewekoro. He noted that the project, developed in collaboration with private sector partners, marks the first phase of the Ogun State Light Up project. Governor Abiodun emphasized that the project aligned with his administration's commitment to providing reliable electricity across the state. The governor, who was impressed by the high quality of work done at the site, observed that the plant, apart from using compressed gas as its main fuel, will also make use of diesel as a backup in case of disruption in the supply of gas. The power plant, the governor said, will provide constant electricity to government institutions like offices, health facilities, government quarters, police stations, local government offices, and higher institutions, and will eventually cascade to private individuals and industries when the capacity is increased. The House of Representatives has fixed February 26th for the public hearing of the tax reform bills, following their passage for a second reading by both chambers of the National Assembly. The decision to hold a public hearing where input from the public will be collated was announced by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas during the plenary today. To this end, the House announced a 36-member special committee whose duty will be to coordinate the session, bringing in expertise in tax administration, including the benefits of the tax reform proposal. The committee, according to the Speaker Abbas, will be chaired by Abiodun Faleke, while the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Finance, Seidu Abdullahi, will act as his deputy. Other members include Al-Hassan, Ado Dogua, Nicholas Motu, Fred Agedi, and Idigweri, among others. The federal government's food security agenda, aimed at achieving food sufficiency by empowering farmers and transforming rural areas into modern, developed agricultural production centers, has received a significant boost. This followed collaborative initiatives being taken by the Commissioners of Agriculture in the 6 southwest states of Osun, Lagos, Oyo, Ondo, Ogun, and Ekiti, to drive rural agricultural development in their respective domains and ultimately achieve food sufficiency. Osun State Commissioner of Agriculture and Food Security, Otumba Babatola Fasheru, said he and his counterparts in other states of the region are collaborating to enhance agro-processing services and implement strategies aimed at improving food security. He stated that the meeting of regional commissioners of agriculture held last year was focused on increasing farmers' income and strengthening food security. The Lagos State Commissioner of Agriculture and Food System, Abisola Olusanya, explained that the primary objective of the intervention by regional commissioners of agriculture is to build a modern and sustainable agricultural economy that emphasizes the production of high-quality products and value addition to align with market demands. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, has banned the Nigerian police force from parading suspects. A parade is a public display of a person suspected to have committed a crime. Speaking on the matter, human rights lawyer Femi Falana said the practice of parading suspects was illegal, saying that the act constitutes a gross violation of the fundamental right of criminal suspects to the presumption of innocence guaranteed by Section 36 of the Constitution and Article 7 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Act of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004. Falana stated that over 5 judgments had declared that the parading of suspects is illegal. He stated that there are 5 judgments of the ECOWAS Court and Federal High Court which have declared the parade of suspects as illegal. He expressed concern over the long-term reputational damage inflicted on individuals who may later be found innocent. The lawyer urged the Inspector General to direct all officers across the 36 state police command to stop parading criminal suspects. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has confirmed that 789 ex-terrorist combatants are currently enrolled in the De-Radicalization, Rehabilitation and Reintegration Program under the Operation Safe Corridor Initiative. Musa, represented by the Chief of Defense Policy and Plans, Air Vice Marshal Shayo Olatunde, shared this information at the OPSC stakeholders meeting held in Abuja. He explained that the initiative was launched following the mass surrender of members of Boko Haram and the Islamic State of West African Province, a result of well-coordinated operations by all stakeholders involved. More than 120,000 insurgents and their families have surrendered since the inception of the program, and the 789 ex-combatants are expected to graduate within the year. The CDS also mentioned that the meeting focused on developing strategies for the reintegration of the first batch of 391 clients into their state as part of the broader de-radicalization efforts. Meanwhile, former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has bemoaned the declining ranks of the nation's patriotic leaders, particularly at this crucial stage in the country's history, when their wise counsel and vast experience are greatly needed. Obasanjo lamented that Clark's death was particularly unfortunate, coming just 4 days after the passing of Chief Ayo Adebanjo, the foremost Yoruba leader and chairman of Afenifere. He described the late former federal commissioner as a great brother and friend, a distinguished lawyer, a seasoned economist and a tested administrator, an accomplished politician and a revered community leader. In a statement issued by his Special Assistant on Media, Kehinde Akinyemi, Obasanjo noted that over the years, Clark had demonstrated unwavering love for his people and remained one of the most articulate and vocal advocates for improved conditions in the oil-producing states of the country. You are now welcome to our sports segment. Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen has emerged as the most valuable player to ever join the Turkish Super League, with his market value of €100 million, putting him €70 million ahead of second-placed Nicolo Zaniolo. The Nigerian international, who joined Galatasaray on a season-long loan from Napoli last summer after proposed moves to Chelsea and Saudi Arabia fell through, has continued to justify his hefty valuation with 19 goals in 24 appearances across all competitions for the Turkish Giants. According to the data from Transfer Market, Osimhen's €100 million valuation dwarfs that of Zaniolo, valued at €30 million, when he moved from Roma to Galatasaray in February 2023. Meanwhile, the Nigerian striker could be set for another big move this summer, with Manchester United and Paris Saint-Germain both tabling verbal offers for his services. Turkish journalist Yildiz Zabungozu revealed that both European giants have reached an agreement with Napoli to trigger the striker's €75 million release clause, which becomes active when the summer transfer window opens. Victor Osimhen is about to sign a deal with a world-renowned management company. And from the foreign scene, UK wage growth has accelerated to an 8-month high, cementing analyst expectations that the Bank of England will take a gradual approach to cutting interest rates. The Office for National Statistics said in a statement that annual growth in employees' average regular earnings rose to 5.9% in the 3 months to the end of last December, up from 5.6% in the same period to November. The ONS added that the unemployment rate remained at 4.4% to the end of December. A UK economist at Capital Economics, Ashley Webb, relayed the data that reinforced expectation that the Bank of England will not deviate from its current gradual approach to interest rate cuts. The BOE has cut its key rate earlier for the third time in 6 months and signaled a careful approach to reducing rates further as it eyes US tariff threats and UK economic developments. And that ends the major report on OSBC TV tonight. The bulletin was edited by Babatunde Fanaoko. I am Kayode Adebayo. Thanks for watching and good night.